We're going to change the subject over this morning to writing. Now, the growing trend towards self-publishing continues to cause a buzz in the industry. Some people even say that right now is the best time in history to become an author because digital technology and self-publishing have created more opportunities for authors around the globe than ever before. We're going to talk about some of these changes this morning with a local favorite author down here in the Keys. Now, he's been writing for over 20 years, so he's definitely had to stay on top of everything. Mike, thank you for being back on the show and joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me, Jenna. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Now, Mike, I know I mentioned in the introduction that you've been writing for over 20 years, so I can only imagine the changes that you have seen since you started writing.
Well, when I started, the way that a person got published was you had to, of course, write a great book, and then you sent off query letters to agents, and who would, included in these query letters would be the first 2 or 3 chapters of your book. And presumably the agent would want to like your chapters enough to want to read the rest of the book. They would contact you, you would send them the rest of the book, they would love the book, they would sign you to a contract. At that point, they go off and try to shop the book to some of the big publishers in New York. And of course, this is all best case scenario now. Sooner or later, one of the publishers takes a nibble, they negotiate a deal, you sign the deal, the curtain falls, and your book comes out, right? And everybody's happy. The problem was that hardly ever happened. You know,
Very rare.
It never happened to me until, yeah, I mean, I went years and years without getting published until about 3 years ago. I actually got an offer for a book deal from a publisher, and I took it. And my book came out. It was called The Take. It was a crime fiction novel set in Houston and New Orleans. And it came out about around 2010. Then I noticed something that happened. Once it came out, it didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened. The publisher said, well, we don't have the resources to promote it very well, and this and that, and then all these excuses.
Oh, discouraging.
And, right, yeah. And right about this time, maybe about 2008 or so, a couple of years earlier, a major event happened in the world of publishing, and that was Amazon, whom I'm sure everybody is familiar with. Amazon began a program called Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP. And KDP was a program under which anybody with any book at all could send in a formatted version of their manuscript that would fit the Kindle format, and it would be published as an ebook on Amazon, and it would receive its own page, and you could write your own description, you could set your own price, design your own cover, or pay somebody to do it, you know, however you wanted to do it, but you had total control over the book. And of course, you know, you had total control over the promotion of the book also. And then as the final incentive, they paid you most of the money in royalties. I mean, you got a tremendous royalty, exponentially greater than what traditional publishers were and still are paying. So what happened was, at that point, the stigma of self-publishing was lifted, because before that, when I got started, if you were self-publishing, you were considered delusional.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, you were considered somebody who couldn't write, who couldn't, you know, the only way you're going to get your stuff into a book form is to pay some company to print up books and dump them on your doorstep. And then that was really back when, of course, when they had only print books.
Right, right.
But then when ebooks came along, and when Amazon started their KDP program, that changed everything. And now people like myself and other, I mean, I'm certainly don't include myself in this category, but there are some very, very good writers who were traditionally published, who have since jumped ship and are now self-publishing because they did the arithmetic and they saw how much more money they can make by doing it themselves. I realized in my case that I could do what my publisher had done with The Take, only I could do it better. And in fact, I am doing it better. And since then I've been self-published. I have several books out, which I published myself. My latest series is a Key West Nocturnes series, all noir novels set in Key West, all self-published, and they're all doing very well. So basically what has happened in the last just 2 or 3 years is the nothing short of a revolution in publishing.
And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see, and I'm sure it makes you and all the other authors out there so happy to have
Oh
this.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, because for one thing, I was able to clear up my backlog of novels that I had written that kept getting rejected by all these, you know, can't be bothered agents and publishers. And I'm glad that they did reject them now, because now I'm the one who's making all the money off them, and I don't have to sign my rights away for the rest of my life.
Right, right.
I keep the rights.
So a bad thing turned into a very good thing.
Yeah,
right, for you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and now what are you working on right now? Tell our viewers. You mentioned you've got this series out right now.
I have this series of novels set here in Key West, and I call it Key West Nocturnes. And each novel is what they call a standalone. There's one right there, set up on Front Street. Manslaughter is another one. And they're standalones in which you don't have to read one to understand the other. It's not a continuous story arc. But they do have certain secondary characters that are recurring, certain locales in Key West that are recurring. And what I intend to do with these books, Jenna, is to lift the veil off Key West and reveal it as a real noir city, on the equal level with Los Angeles or Miami or New Orleans. And I think I've done that with these books so far, and I'm working on a fourth one right now. It's called The Guns of Miami, and it will be out sometime in 2013.
2013.
Right.
Well, your writing's amazing, and your books are just as amazing. So
Well, thank you.
thank you for sharing all of this with our viewers. And if they want more information on you, Mike, they can check out your website.
My website is Mike Dennis Noir, N-O-I-R, MikeDennisNoir.com. And that's my website. It will tell you all about my books. My books themselves, as you see by the titles here, are all available on Amazon in print or in digital form, either one. So if you're like me, you like the feel of a real book, you can order the paperback version, or if you have a Kindle or a Nook or whatever, iPad, you can order the digital version, either way. But all my books are available in both formats.
Well, check them out.
Okay, great.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right now, but I will be right back after these messages, so please stay with me.